telling you, man, they be wilding in this show, bro. This show is crazy.
I see.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Across the Table, where the drinks are cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are fire. First things first, because I always forget to do this. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, share the video. It would be greatly appreciated. Sitting across the table from me is one of my man 50 grand. My man 50 grand. This man has opened up his basement to me to meditate, to drink, to watch Michigan football, all of that.
To train.
To train.
Boxing, martial arts, the whole nine.
This is, yes. Sitting across the table from me is my man, King Quis. What is going on, sir?
I'm applauding you, my brother. I appreciate you for having me on as a guest. He's told no lies. Me and this man been knowing each other over 20 years. It's nothing new. You know, we go all the way back to when we was just having fun, MCing, chasing women,
I'm gonna hit you with something. I'm gonna hit you with Quis, C-Mac, and B Utter. Sex chicks on seat covers, we stunners and freaks lovers. You remember that?
Wow. That was, what record was that?
That was the Butter intro from the Juice.
Oh, yeah. We was on the radio. Oh, that was like, hold on. That was like 2002?
It was you, B Rose, and I think, no, it was just y'all three.
Yeah, it was us three because Phil was living in Mississippi. And Clemmy, this was actually before the gathering of the masters, so to speak, far as like the MCs in Toledo. Yeah, damn. That was, shout out to my homie Clemmy doing this thing. Shout out to my brother Philly, still doing this thing. Black Cotton, you know what I'm saying? Free Thinkers Academy, my people, y'all good people. My homeboy Gnarly, Dirty Dean, my right hand man Chris. Like, we could take y'all back. Don't make me pull out pictures. You know what I'm saying? My homie B Rose. And don't let me forget about the cats that didn't rap, but they were still honorary, like my homie Big Tim. You know what I'm saying? My cousin Chig.
Big Tim the boxer.
Yes. Yeah, like we got like, we could literally spend like the next hour just talking about, like, big ups to Tone and Boom. You know what I'm saying? My cousin and my homeboy. Like we go back, yo. And it's like, we still keep it close, keep it tight. So I respect being a guest here. I'm honored, by the way, my man. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to think like this some old first time we on the whim. Like, nah, we go way back to high school, like early high school, like freshman year, trying to figure it out.
Right, trying to figure it out. Now, I start all of these off by asking this one question. How are you? Not King Quis, not the entrepreneur, not the martial artist. How are you as a man? Like, how are you for real?
As a man, meaning my current state or just my understanding of?
Just how are you? You understand what I'm saying?
I'm in a really, really tremendously good space. I'm in a good place in my mind, in my heart, and my direction. So I'm doing amazing in that regard. But I also know, like, there's much more to do. So that's just the drive in me. But as a man, see, we talking friend to friend, homie to homie, man to man. So that's a great question, and I appreciate your question. But I'm amazingly appreciative on where I'm at right now. Like, I can't even explain it any better than that without going into it too deep.
The reason why I always start this off is because we really don't ask each other that.
We don't.
Like, we really don't say, hey, how are you? You understand what I'm saying? And a simple, hey, how are you, can change the trajectory of somebody's entire day. Especially with us, because with us saying stuff like that, we're automatically labeled. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we're emotional or something goofy, but it's good to actually be able to ask, especially since we friends like that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I always start off all of these with that question. Now, let's dive into it because you mentioned Black Cotton. Shout out to Philly P.
My bro, my man's my right hand.
What made you want to start rapping? What brought you into hip hop?
My brother Philly. Like, seriously, I was always a fan of hip hop. Like, see, some people be thinking like, cause you rap, you extra special or extraordinary. Not really, cause anybody can rap. So when you ask me that, let me walk you through it real quick, and then break down how I still look at it. Hip hop is art. It's no different from a man or a woman that knows how to draw or paint or sculpt. It's no different from somebody who knows how to play an instrument, sing. It's just a different art. It's not always collectively respected, but I say that to say this. When I look at artists, I respect their growth, so I try not to be over judgmental. But what made me want to be a rapper literally was my brother Philly. That's it. Because even before I rapped, I knew the difference between bullshit music and real music. So that made me right there, that at that point made me differentiate just being a fan, some artists between other artists. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people deep, some people funny, some people just make music to party. I get it. I'm not taking no side. I'm just answering your question. So being a fan of music made me appreciate my brother. I'm like, damn, this dude nice.
And he been cold since forever. I remember we were in BG at an icebreaker. And after the icebreaker, we all went into, I guess, there was this pit. There were stairways everywhere right before we got into the parking lot. And Philly P got into a cypher and literally destroyed
I never forget.
everybody.
No disrespect to my homies from the land, but it was some Cleveland cats that we battle rap. I battle rapped another dude, and I'm not even a great freestyler, but for some reason it came out that day. You know what I'm saying?
It was like I had never, and he was like there, like, all right. And then afterwards, he went and shook his hand. He was like, hey, I know, you know what I'm saying? I know you hype. I know this is your land, but don't ever play me like that again.
Yeah.
Like, ever. Don't ever do that ever again.
Yeah. See, a lot of people don't know, like, it's always been some tension between Toledo and Cleveland, but it primarily started in the jail system. If you ever been in the jail system, you'll know. But like on a music level, we always respected Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? So that's why afterwards, it wasn't like, you know, some people.
We wasn't trying to fight or nothing. It was just like, it was a good battle, but you picked the wrong night and you picked the wrong one.
So you're going to remember this work.
And that's what it was. It was all respect. Now, what was it like working on the Black Cotton Project? What was that like? Because that, and I shout out again to Philly P, because he had like some of the core on that album. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of having features from everywhere else, which I know that he had access to, he brought y'all on, and I'm like, that's dope. Like, that is real dope. What was that project like? What was it like working on that?
How can I say this? First and foremost, it was an absolute privilege, because I was actually retired from music. When I mean retired, like how I made a reference earlier to, like, I look at hip hop as an art. Again, I made those analogies between somebody who draws, sculpt, paint, so on and so forth. I'ma always make music. I got a studio at my crib, but I never, like, it came a point where I wasn't so compelled to make, like, to just be on the rap scene. I just wanted to just, a lot of it, man, to be honest with you, in the last 10 years, a lot of the music I made was for me. I didn't make it for nobody. I didn't even care if y'all liked it. It was for me. It was some grown shit that I felt like was missing in the game. So, like, I got a record on that album with Philly, me and him going back and forth. And I remember telling him, he was like, I'll never forget, real spill. My son was living in Columbus, right? We're moving him. I got on all my dirty clothes. We sweaty, the whole nine. And Phil called me like, yo, I need you to get on. I want you to get on this joint. Now, what y'all don't know about Phil is not just a rapper. Phil is he's a mastermind. Like when he do something, he just like you can't. The best thing to do is just walk aside him and watch what he doing. Then it's gonna all unravel. So I knew what he was doing. So he know how to pick the right records. He know how to get the right cats. Like his whole project was orchestrated by himself. Not only did he put his own money behind it and put that whole joint together on his own, he knew, man, it's almost like John Madden coaching the line, because everything started at the line. You can't be a great quarterback, running back, or wide receiver without that line.
Yeah, you need your protection.
He's a John Madden of hip hop, in my opinion. So I say that for this reason. Being on that record, I flew out there and recorded. So, and that when I say flew out there, we in Toledo, Ohio. I flew out to Phoenix, Arizona. We recorded at I think it was called Salt Mine Studios. Everybody recorded there. Lil Wayne, anybody you know that's famous recorded there before. So just being in that environment and then watching what he doing, I was like, now I understood it. Again, I'm walking beside him, but just being on that project alone, like I was like, it was something that I needed. It was necessary. It sparked something in me that was laying dormant. Like I said, I didn't care to, like we did shows. I didn't care to do all that shit no more. I don't know why. I'm not going to sit up there and lie to the people. I don't know why I didn't want to do it anymore. Maybe because I felt like as you grow, you can do more other shit. That same greatness you put in music, you can put into like anything you do. So that's probably, I'm not pinpointing it, but I'm just guessing. But just being on that project, man, was amazing. And to get back in the game and do what we did, and that record, it took off. Like, I didn't think people was going to be that susceptible. I mean, he got like industry cats featured on this album, and like everybody is responding to what we did. I was like, damn, I really, like, I was just more or less like, I'm just going to be me. I was damn near on some shit. Like, just be yourself. If they don't like it, fuck it. But I'm too grown and too older to get caught up into that whole bullshit. Like, I'm not gonna rap about a lifestyle I don't live no more. And I come from that gang culture, that drug culture. I used to gang bang. I used to sell dope. I come from that 90s era where I did all that wild shit. But I feel like, man, I've been off that for so long. Now let me give them something they can go on. So that's how I felt.
Wow. Now, let me ask this then.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the current state of hip hop right now?
I think hip hop is still in tat. For this reason, because you can't tarnish greatness. Only thing you can do is dilute it. I think it's too much of the same shit out. Like back in my era. Now look, this ain't me dissing on the new era, but I gotta put a real voice to it. I listen to the radio now. I don't know who's who. Like, even back in the day, we had corny bullshit rap back in the day. And by the way, it's some great artists out. You know what I'm saying? It's some great artists out. I ain't about to do that, but I'm just letting y'all know, like, I really appreciate new hip hop. But it's just too much of it's becoming like my when my teenage daughter come to me and tell me, Dad, you right. This dude talking about doing drugs and smoking weed and popping pills. And then he do an interview talking about he don't do none of that. So it's like everybody following this grand trend as opposed to just being an artist and being themselves. That's why I love cats like J. Cole. That's why I love cats like Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can go on again. I shouldn't even have name drop like that. But like them dudes, they make great music. Like if I'm like a little kid when I hear they drop something. See, I was one of them dudes. I wanted to grab the CD, open it up, read the credits. Oh, they recorded here. That's stuff.
And if they had the lyrics, you sat down and learned every word of it.
Right. So the state of hip hop right now is intact. It's just hip hop is not widestream. It's rap. That's widestream. You know what I'm saying? You got, and I salute it, but I got to get on them too. You got kids, teenagers making 6 figures, just doing their own videos, recording out of their parents' basement, all that shit, and then doing their videos in the garage. You gotta salute that. The game is like, if we would have had that, what? Man, if we would have had those, I don't want to start drifting, but I'll make a statement and say this: if we knocked the fucking doors down, nobody opened, all our older homies and all of the so-called OGs of the hip hop community, whether it be just in the Midwest or just in the city, because we got great talent here. Nobody opened shit for us. We had to kick down them doors. And now motherfuckers feel like we owe them something. Like y'all didn't do shit for us. We did that. We put, man, don't let me start talking about, man. I'm damn near ashamed of shit we done did to have to, all the fights we done got into and other shit. I'm gonna leave it alone. But the state of hip hop it's always gonna be intact because you can't tarnish greatness. But rap right now is just like it's few to none when it comes to like individuality and real talent. Yeah, I'm getting in your face too. See, sometimes I might just throw some shit out there just to make y'all think, and sometimes I'm really in your face. This time I'm really in your face. A lot of motherfuckers, like, it's too many part 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 of the last cat. You could, in my era, you couldn't be a Jay-Z part 2. You couldn't be a Nas part 3. You couldn't be another Tupac. You couldn't be another Scarface, Snoop Dogg. Like these dudes, when they came on the radio, you knew who they were. Even if you didn't know them, you knew like, oh, who is that? It don't matter if it was like some dope ass Philly rappers, some dope ass rappers from Atlanta, Florida, California, Ohio, Michigan, New York, South Carolina, shit, Massachusetts. Like everybody had their own shit. Now everybody, they it's almost like we gotta sound like this to get that. Nah, B, that ain't where it is. How can you have that much versatility but still fall in line because you trying to, like, man, I heard Jay-Z said that Jay-Z, I think it was, oh shit, it was a movie or something anyway. Jay-Z was in his office, he had a young cat with him, and dude was like he was an upcoming artist, right? And he was like, oh man, I don't really know how to come out. And then Jay-Z was like, you see what y'all doing? Y'all making these rappers scared. They don't even know how to be themselves anymore. And that shit just right there, I just put my stamp on it.
Well said. All right, let's shift gears for a minute because we trained for a minute. Mm-hmm. You are a martial arts champion. You've got a couple of trophies. Mm-hmm. What made you get into mixed martial arts, and what is your martial arts background for the people?
Okay, I'm gonna walk you through it. I'm gonna take you back. First of all, I got bullied when I was little. Look at me. I'm 43 years old. I'm probably like $180 wet. My walk around weight is probably like right now, probably like 175. But let me take you back to just like everybody else. I'm not special. I'm not trying to make it seem like when I mean bullied, I didn't get physically bullied. Like I didn't get beat up. I did get chased home a few times. But I got bullied socially and mentally. What I mean by socially, when you grow up poor, like we did, we lived in the projects. I didn't have the latest J's all the time. I didn't wear the most hip clothes. So you get picked on. And then when you quiet, I was real quiet when I was little. I'm talking about elementary, second, kindergarten on up. I was real quiet. And you kind of like you trying to like figure out yourself as a youngster. And but the crazy part about it, I knew I could beat up all my bullies. Even back then, my uncle taught me how to box. I started boxing in a gym when I was like in the 5th grade. I was like 11. You know what I'm saying? So my core discipline started with boxing. What I mean by discipline, I mean choice of
the choice of art.
Yeah, it started with boxing. Then in high school, I wrestled for almost like a shade. But even before I wrestled on the team, I had like I mean, you wrestle with your homies in the hood, all that, with your brothers, with your cousins. You don't even know you training. That wasn't like no real stuff, but that's part of training too. Like just slap boxing, stuff like that, playing around with your big brother, flexing on him.
But little do you know, you're getting your reflexes together.
Right. So that was in my very young youth. And then I started doing Muay Thai kickboxing when I was like I want to say late 20s, maybe early 30s. Did a little bit of American kickboxing. Thanks to a guy by the name of Mr. Steve Collins. Shout out to my man right there. I started training under him. So he was technically my first sensei. We did mixed martial arts, jiu-jitsu, judo. I mean, we did everything. And then he introduced me to the dojo that he was a part of, which is Ohio Martial Arts Center. It's out there in Fallen Timbers. Please check it out. Great sensei. I still to this day train under Joseph Hersteller Sr. His son is an amazing guy too, Joseph Hersteller Jr. My man, I learned so much from both of those guys, whether it be hands-on or just talking. Believe it or not, bro, you learn go ahead.
I have his book.
Yeah.
I actually bought 2 copies of it.
Yeah.
I went out there and I studied for a hot second, but I had to stop because I had got a new job, and then the job interfered with the time training, so I couldn't really do it.
Mm-hmm.
But for the small amount of time that I was there, I learned everything from stance to how to get out of certain situations, like the ones where you laying on your escapes, short kicks, high kicks, straight punches, right hooks, elbows, all of that. So shout out to the Ohio Martial Arts Academy.
Absolutely. Great place. Look, I don't care if you a very young youngster, if you have children, they have a great children's program. Or if you retired and just want to pick up something, maybe you might not want to start off learning a discipline in terms of self-defense. Maybe you just want to lose some weight, just be active. I say do it. But to finish off your question, I also, that's still my transition. I still go there from time to time. I've always trained on my own also. But that's the great part about training at a dojo like that. They hold you to a certain standard to where like you train when you leave here also. You dig? So, but then I learned, like I started actually studying martial arts. Then I came into something that really blew my blast. I didn't know martial arts originated in Africa. It was called the Manchu arts. Montu. Look it up. This is a very, very ancient art. It's a guy by the name of Mfudishi Jehutimas. Mfudishi means Grand Master, right? And look him up. Mfudishi Jehutimas. Great guy, very humble. This guy, like, if he's not in his 60s, he's probably in his 70s. He's a multi-grand champion, meaning like world champion. That means he competed with the world. Anyway, he went over there, and when he won, I don't know if it was his first or second championship, part of winning, like you get like whatever accolades that come afterwards, rewards, but you get like this tour. And it was somewhere in Asia. I want to say China, but don't get me to making up. I don't like misinterpreting things, but it wasn't definitely in Asia. And then they took him on like this grand tour, and he started realizing like, yo, that's us. There's Asians darker than this microphone. And he was like, wow, yeah, they came straight out of Nubia. So this get deeper. Again, it's a history lesson. I didn't know. So again, let me keep it martial arts. So there's Asians twice as dark as me that's been that way their whole life. So then he talking to them. He was like, man, these people look like, you would never see it on the brochure, by the way. I travel brochure. And he was telling those guys like, yo, they look like us. They look like me. He was like, then he was like, so what is this? What is this? Then he started really studying their ancient art. He was like, y'all got that from ancient Egypt, Kemet. And he was like, oh yeah, we know. They taught us this. We took it and made it our own because martial arts should be shared. Martial arts don't belong to nobody. It's everybody's. But respect the art. You dig what I'm saying? So when he said that, the Asian guy, and I'm paraphrasing, like I'm putting it in my own words. He said, man, the world got to know about this. Asian guy looked at him and said, yeah, but it's your responsibility to tell it. You are responsible to teach your people your history on whatever you do. And he was right. So I'm not only do I respect Asian martial arts, not only do I respect all of American martial arts, North and South, because Brazilian, it's a whole nother ball game. Beautiful martial arts down there. Also, you got European martial art. I mean, it's just, like I said, there's no one person's, no one culture's thing. It's supposed to be shared. Matter of fact, I think the more of a disciplined martial art should become, I think, and I'm kind of like shooting to the moon, I think we would have a different way of living. People will respect each other more. Like, you got a different perspective. Like, you act different when you fear someone as opposed to when you don't. If you're scared of somebody, you got to almost comply to you got to adjust to how they think because you fear them opposing a will on you. But if you're not worried about that, now you want to just connect with that person. You might find out that they need you to explain certain things to them, man. It's a good communion. Like, damn, I never looked at it like that. So martial arts is way more than just learning discipline and how to fight and this, that, and the third.
And here's something that I wish was more mainstream. Martial arts is about more than learning how to beat people up.
Oh, that matter of fact, that might be the last thing to learn.
Because every time I've trained, all of my teachers have told me that I am not allowed to fight.
Yeah. Unless you absolutely, like I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to even go further than that. I'm a licensed gun carrier. You know what I'm saying? I keep a blade everywhere I go. I'm overprotective of all women. I don't care what color you are. Just because I know what women go through. When you've been raised in a single household and seen your mom go through a lot of stuff, you start to get an understanding of the whole society collectively. But yeah, like martial arts is not about fighting. You will learn how to, matter of fact, the more you learn how to fight, the less you will fight.
And the less you want to fight.
Yeah, because you realize everything is not a fight. That's normally a lot of people's go-to because we grew up in that culture. Again, it is crazy because a gay girl told me one day I was guying. And I was like,
what does that even mean?
I don't know. But I think that was her version of telling me I was probably being a little over masculine. So respectfully, I toned it down and we had a good build. Like I could have been tripping. I could have been wrong. But if my ego was so big and I was like tripping on this, that, and the third, then I would have been like, fuck you, blah, 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 blah. Like, no, I'm a man. No, I had to really listen to her because she didn't say it with malice behind it. She was just saying like, and I have a tendency to do that. Why? Because I carry so much on my back. You dig? So that I had to like humble myself and like understand that balance that she was trying to teach me. And I learned something that day. And I was like, wow, like I really probably was guying if that's the title.
If that's the word.
Yeah. I still don't understand that term, but I was like, I probably was being a little over masculine, but real spill.
All right. We've hit the music. We've hit martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk family. Mm-hmm. Because you mentioned your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you
I actually have two daughters. I have a grown daughter and a teenage daughter and two sons, both grown. Matter of fact, my son's birthday tomorrow. We gonna kick it, B.
And you also have a ring on your finger.
Yes. So don't call me gay because I reject you. Because that was a conversation before the podcast. Yeah, look. Can I do this real quick?
Go ahead.
Look, I was actually, now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to tell you where I was wrong at in my past. Before I got married, I took a lot of stuff out on my, at that time, girlfriend, based on stuff that I went through in a previous relationship. I'm not going to say no names because I ain't doing it. That ain't what I'm doing. I'm not name dropping. I'm making a point based on experience. And we was young anyway, so no knock to my previous relationship before the one I'm in now. But we was both just young. But I remember I fucked up a lot before I got married. Like, again, like I told y'all, I took a lot out on my lady back then that she didn't deserve. And it eventually led to us separating. I can honestly say it was my fault why we separated. Regardless of what transpired in that whole little thing, it was really my fault. Like, I'm looking back on it and being mature with my approach to that understanding. It was really my fault. It wasn't all my fault, but it was my fault. Like, I created that negative space. But anyway, this is again before I got married. So now I'm married. I'm like, now I'm not like getting mad and say I'm single for the night. Now I'm not like going out and acting like I don't have a worry in the world and this, that, and the third. Now I'm more conscious to like whatever you do, even on social media, you got to watch what you say. Some women, you like or love a picture too much. They think you shooting your shot. I'm like, no, that's a nice picture. Like, that's all it is. But so I don't want to make long work out of this. I remember being a girl, not so bad looking girl, but I'm married. So she trying to shoot her shot. She was feeling me. I was, I felt like I still had it. Like, I still got it. So I told her, I was like, she was like, she asked my number. And then she was like, and then I'm telling her like, yo, I'm flattered. I literally, this is word for word. I'm not paraphrasing, word for word what I said. I said, I'm flattered, sweetheart. I said, but I'm married and I don't get down like that. And she was like, she did just like this. This is me being her. Like, what? Psst, nigga, you gay. I was like, what? I'm thinking to myself, like, right then and there, well, first of all, conversation done. Like, I could walk away and never see you again.
You don't have anything to say to her.
Like, you just, so I'm going to ask the audience this question. Who is worse at dealing with rejection, men or women? Open question. I ain't even going to answer it for you because my answer ain't your answer.
Leave the answers in the comment section. I'll actually do a video on the answers in the comment section. We'll do it that way.
But in my experience, in my experience, I think it's close, but I think more women have a problem dealing with rejection. And where it come from, I don't know entirely. I'm not even about to just say I do. But that was a weird situation because I'm trying to figure out in your mind, where is me being faithful to my wife homosexual? Like, there's not another dude in this equation. You know what I'm saying? Like, call me something else. Call me a lame, a nerd. Call me a square. But I'm gay because so you think because I don't like you or not even like you that I didn't choose to be an infidel because I didn't choose to cheat on my lady or try to start something on the side that all of a sudden I'm homosexual because I turned like you do know my wife is a woman. She's a wife. This not like this new age gender neutral shit that I'm not about to get on because I don't want to disrespect the gay community. But like no other guy was in this equation like that. That shit was just weird to me. But there it is.
Wow. Ooh, okay. Okay. Let me ask.
Mm-hmm.
What about her made you say, hey, I'm about to spend the rest of my life with you? Like, what tangible thing or intangible feeling did she give you to make you comfortable enough to make that decision? I gotta know. That's part of my research. That's why I started this channel, because I want to be a husband, and within that covenant, I want to be a father.
I'm gonna have to be, or you done building? I'm gonna be totally uncensoredly, if that's even a word, uncensored, honest with you. At the time, I just knew I didn't want to lose her. At that time, when I got married, I wasn't ready to be married. I don't think most men are when they get married. I don't think most women are ready to be married. I think most women, and I'm talking about nowadays, the generation before us was different. The generation before that generation was different. Society was different. But let's talk about that time. I didn't want to lose her, but I wasn't ready to get married. And I'm gonna say it again. I don't think most women understand what goes into a marriage. And to piggyback on a comedian, and I'm joking. I'm a jokester, by the way. But sometimes when I joke, cause bad blood. But I gotta be honest and stand on my square and say what I feel. Most women want the show. They want the wedding. They really don't want to put in the work that goes into a marriage. I say most because I talk to a lot of people that are engaged, that are in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, and that are married. This is my conclusion, my comparative analysis on just being honest with what's really going on. So again, I'm gonna take you back to myself. I loved this woman enough to know I didn't want to lose her. I wanted to show her that I wanted to be fully invested into this relationship, 2 feet in. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm a guy that came into a relationship where my wife already had 2 children by another guy. So that's a different dynamic. You know, most people want everything to be perfect. They want a lady to not have no kids. They damn near want her to be a fucking mermaid virgin. You know what I'm saying? That's not realistic. And I get in I'm getting in these dudes. I get in everybody's face, but I get in your face humbly. I don't get in your face to agitate you. I get in your face to open that third eye. Like a lot of these men, I understand women in this reference. A lot of these men are not even ready to lead. It's a weird dynamic that's going on right now, bro. And us black people, we lost our sense of family. Not all of us. You can go get it back. You can reinvent the wheel. You can make it, we can be the adjustment bureau. We can get back to real shit. But are y'all willing to do it? Is y'all willing to put in the work? Because until you willing to do that, your marriage is going to fail. It's going to crumble. I've been with the same woman for over 22 years, bro. You dig? I'm 43. So we got together young. And I was doing music. I got groupies throwing pussy at me. You know what I'm saying? If you want to jump in, you know what I'm saying?
That's another thing I was going to ask, because you've been in the hip hop scene. I've been in the club scene doing hosting and all of that. So I got a small little tidbit of what you got. How did you balance?
You know what? The first thing I did was this. One of my first favorite rapper was Ice Cube. People look over Ice Cube. Ice Cube been with the same woman since he was in high school. Like, I'm pretty sure they went through something, but they relationship wasn't publicly displayed like that. As to Snoop Dogg and a lot of other, I'm using rappers because a lot of people think you living that rapper's life. They think you gotta have a bunch of bitches, a bunch of hoes. And I don't like saying that word. I don't reference women into bitches and hoes. I'm saying like that's the mentality and the mindset of how people think.
That's the mainstream media.
Even a dude, I heard it is. I don't know if it's factual. I heard that a dude that was in one of the guys that was in the group Bone Thugs and Harmony, he took his wife on tour with him. Like he was like, I don't want that. I want my woman with me. So what you got to do, and I'm talking to the men right now, because we failed our women, man. We failed our women. I'm talking to the men right now. Y'all, look, let me not get so ghetto. Us men, we need to get back to home too. I heard Life Jennings say this, and he said it's so real in that song called Let's Stay Together. And he was like, man, you know, anybody can be slick at talking, be slick at listening. And also, your work is in the home, bro. Motherfuckers don't even think I still live in Toledo. They think I live everywhere else because I ain't really on the scene like that. You dig what I'm saying? My work at home. I enjoy being at home. I enjoy walking around in my fucking underwear with my Michigan slippers on. You know what I'm saying? Didn't mean to get a little too graphic. I'm being funny though. But it's going to start with the man. It can't start with the woman. I'm going to tell you why I can't start with the woman. Women are stronger than us. Now, I'm getting in the men's face. I'm going to tell you why. I was raised by a woman, bro. My father abandoned me in the womb. Didn't never look back. Didn't give a fuck. I could never do that to my son, bro. I could never do that to my daughter. Even when I'm mad at him, I could never do that shit. How the fuck? I never called a man father or grandfather. That's why I said these women are stronger than us because they're more resilient when it comes to, we talking about family. I'm not talking about strength. I'm not talking about overall awareness when it comes to like that social construct that everybody, they keep feeding us. I'm not talking about that. That's another conversation. That's another question. I'm talking about family, marriage. Women might be, in my opinion, in my experience, women might be, they might want to settle down and be married, but they have to ask themselves what all entails a woman's duty in being a wife as to a man. But in order, like, the woman is the first teacher of the child. So the man has to be that rock. A lot of us dudes, we be ready to leave our lady because she don't want to have sex 4 or 5 times a week. Not realizing as you get older, a woman's body go through changes. Romance her in a different way. You know what I'm saying? Intellectually stimulate her mind. Show her that she's still beautiful even if she gains some weight. Even if she don't look how you look when we was in our 20s. Even if the sex might have slipped off, but it ain't because she ain't into you. Sometimes she could be going through some shit. It's time for the man to take the real lead. And I don't mean you don't, when you lead your family, it's a duality. You dig? A woman, this is the biggest problem with a woman. I'm getting in all y'all face. The biggest problem with a woman, y'all get in the way of us leading. I'm about to hit a nerve.
Hold on before you do that. I've said this. Mm-hmm. It's the law of physics. Mm-hmm. 2 things cannot occupy the same space at the same time.
No.
So if you want a man to lead, you have to get out of the way so that way he can lead, because him leading means that you get to sit your ass down somewhere like you really want to. And they don't understand that.
Man, just say it one more time, bro. Just say it one more time so they can hear you.
A man actually leading the relationship gives you permission to get out of the way and go do what you want to do instead of doing what you have to do.
See, the problem is, man, and this is why I say women are stronger than men, because I got to give women their accolades too. The woman nowadays, and I'm going to say in my experience in the last 20, 30 years, they've been playing dual roles. The woman has been the woman and the man, the father. Well, a woman can never be a father, but she's tried her best to try to play that fatherly role. Think about the woman that might not have brothers or a dad or a grandfather. It might not be because it might be because passings. It might be because of like bad selection. Like just because you got a brother don't mean he a good uncle. You know what I'm saying? Your brother might be a junkie. He might be you can make an example out of it. Your brother might be a dumbass. He might not even be holding down his family. So I say that to say this, because you got women now raising little boys. You got women now raising little girls. It's always going to be a balance. It's always like, you look at like a magnet. A magnet has 2 ends. It has a positive and a negative. You put 2 positives together, what happened? Put 2 negatives, put a positive and negative, they stick together. So we need that. You need that balance in the household. So like you said, and I applaud you, King. Like you said, you want to be a husband one day. You not gonna never have it all figured out, bro. You always gonna be OJT, on the job training. You always gonna have to, I wouldn't say reinvent the wheel. That's a bad example. You're going to always have to try to figure out the small stuff first. The big shit, leave alone. You can't figure out the big shit. And what I mean by that, let me put it in reference right now. Stop trying to be a G.I. Joe ass nigga. All you can be. No, it's not about being all you can be. It's about following. It's about having an understanding of what y'all want. You dig what I'm saying? Without undermining yourself or your lady. You matter, bro. This ain't no Black Lives Matter shit. You matter in that household. She matters in that household. Whenever y'all start undermining each other, y'all fighting for position. Right? The kids see that, B. You dig what I'm saying? I made a lot of mistakes in my marriage. And when I was just a boyfriend. And when I was just trying to figure out this whole shit. You're going to make a lot of mistakes. The object is to cut down on the shit and talk more. People be like, oh, I don't want to talk. And I'm going to be real with y'all. That's one of the problems in my marriage. We could talk about a lot of shit. The moment we could spend 3 or 4 hours talking about our kids, our parents, our siblings, our cousins, why shit is the way it is. But when we talk about each other, that's the quickest conversation in the world. Yeah. So I'm literally telling you, I literally just put my shit on the table. You know, we all deal with something, but it's a work in progress. I haven't gave up on her. She ain't gave up on me. And this is how we balance each shit out. It's going to all come together. So we speaking into fruition. It's going to all come together one day. It's not all bad. I'm not saying if we talk about an issue in our marriage, it's deaded. I'm just saying, like, I'm about to say something and you about to have a plethora of questions behind this. The biggest problem I see in relationships is when one person is ready to address the issue and the other one isn't. That's the biggest problem I see. So like if you got a problem with your lady and you be like, babe, can we talk about it? I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that. Like, I don't understand this, I don't understand that. She might not be ready to address it. Why? Because she's still trying to wrap her mind around it. She's still trying to understand it herself. If she come to the table at that point, it could easily be, and I'm talking about dudes too. I'm saying women because I'm talking about the opposite of me. But even women, your guy might be that way. You dig what I'm saying? Y'all might have a real issue that can probably collapse y'all union potentially. And nobody wants to address it. Or you might want to and she might not want to. Or she might want to and he might not know how to. So y'all think just coexisting is enough. And that's where shit gets, that's where you see a lot of people be like, oh, y'all not in love anymore. It's not that y'all not in love anymore. It's just y'all growing up. Y'all stop growing together. Like you can easily grow apart in a relationship because like you a smart guy. It's one thing I always knew about you, Chris King. And I mean that shit for real. Like you always been a smart dude. You know what I'm saying? And this is not about intelligence. This is about awareness. So when you are aware that, like, let's say your woman bad with finances. Terrible. Don't know how to balance shit. Live in her mind, living check to check. Nah, that shit come from somewhere. She probably had to do that. But she's with you. And she got a solid ass dude that's 2 feet in. We in this circle together. This is a shared space. This is our union. I love you. I ain't going nowhere. Let's make this shit work. You feel what I'm saying? Then what happens is you start to be like, let me take the lead on this because you fucking up. I'm getting in your face. You fucking up. Your finances is my finances.
I'm glad you said that too, because when I hear women talking about men leading, they also bring up provision and protection. But what they don't understand is with provision comes something in exchange, and with protection, that means that we have to prevent what's about to happen. So there are times where, and I'm going to say this with all the love in the world, there are times where, as men, in order to protect our lady, we have to tell you to sit your ass down somewhere and shut up. Because what you are about to do is about to mess up the relationship, and we see it before you do. So we have to prevent you doing what you're about to do to mess things up. Like you said with the money.
Mm-hmm.
If my lady were bad with the money like that, I used to do credit repair and I used to do financing. Shout out to Witness Richards, the 700 Club. If I saw that she was like that, I would use my knowledge and say, hey, I see you doing this. Let's map this out. Follow this plan, follow this budget. And then boom, it wouldn't be, oh, you're going to do this because I said so. It's going to be I see this is an issue. And I see this is fucking with your self-esteem. And if it's fucking with your self-esteem, it's fucking with my happiness. If I ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go ahead and help you fix this so that way your self-esteem can be where it's supposed to be and I can be happy.
But no, first of all, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. So it's not me changing the trajectory on where you're going. This is me adding to it, because this is where people, and I mean like men and women, this is where they forget. I don't want to come into a relationship and have to regress. I want to come into this relationship and build progress. So again, I'm getting in y'all women's face. If you know you've been slacking, if you know you, and I use finances because I think a lot of people, that's a common conversation.
And it's the main thing that causes most breakups.
The number one problem, real spill, I got rich friends. I got millionaire friends. Do you know the number one thing they argue about is money? And they rich. The number one thing they argue about is money. So now let's talk about 100,000aires. Still the number one conversation. I'm talking about a committed marriage. I ain't talking about you ain't got to worry about cheating, worry about somebody disrespecting you, calling you out of your name, putting your hands on you. That's a whole nother. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a household that the only hurdle that both of you guys need to get over is coming to a financial understanding and where you're trying to move your family to. You know, your family could just be you and another man if you a woman, or you and another woman if you a man, or however combination y'all go into. My whole point is, the older you get, this is an added problem. The older you get, the less room you have for mistakes. A lot of people be ready to end a relationship because I can't keep going through this mistake-induced relationship. I'm past that. Why am I picking up on your mistakes when I did that shit 10 years ago? I haven't done it. You're doing it. Follow my lead. See, when we tell a woman to follow us, we don't mean for you to submit. Now, some people say submit.
It is submission, but it's not subjectification.
Say it again.
There's a difference between submitting and subjectification. Submitting just simply means that just like she wants you to put her feelings ahead of yours, you're going to ask for that in exchange. With us, love is an action word. With them, love is a feeling. So if we're telling you this, and we're helping you do this, and we see that this is an issue, we're telling you this because we love you. We're doing this because we love you. We're not some of us are the lovey-dovey, I love you every 2 seconds, but a lot of us are, I'm going to show you I love you by doing this so that way you don't have to. And if I see that you're doing this and it's messing things up, I'm going to tell you in a way that you understand that it doesn't feel like I'm attacking you, that, hey, you doing this and it's messing this up. Absolutely. So let's change the trajectory here and get back to this.
Yeah, and you're right. You hit the nose. That's like, and y'all women need to understand that's 85% plus of men. That's how we are. That's how we operate. That's the space we deal in. So if y'all not willing to understand that, we always gonna have a negative discourse. So now it's like, some people be ready to call it quits because we can't even get on a good foot. Like, damn, I love you. I love everything about you. I love being around you. I love your smile. I love making you happy. I love the sex. I love wearing that shit out. You know what I'm saying? I love all that. You know what I'm saying? I love making you happy.
King Quis, ladies and gentlemen.
I love being there. I love when my family, when I say my other side of my family, my wife's family, when they say to my wife, like, damn, I wish I had a husband like yours. And I'd heard that. Me and my wife been together over 22 years. I heard that this month. And I was like, damn, y'all. So I still got it. You know, motherfucker, like, I'm just playing.
No, you're not.
I'm flousing a little too much. But I gotta keep it a whole 100 because that's part of that. In my opinion, when I say submission, when a woman submit, all we doing is sometimes you gotta relinquish your power a little bit. I'm not telling you to lay down like a mat for me to walk all over you. What I'm saying is we have a masculine, feminine dynamic that we gotta constantly balance out. So sometimes I need to sit down and shut the fuck up. I'm gonna be real. Sometimes I need to be like, let my lady take the lead on this, especially dealing with kids. Sometimes you need that feminine approach. I'm overly aggressive at times. I had to calm myself down, chill. So just like I got in the women's face, I'm gonna get in the guy's face now. Like, what if the woman is the one who's more financially inclined? Oh, and then I got another question. Please, I'm about to really fuck y'all head up. Women about to be mad at me, but they about to respect me too because I'm being honest.
I'm just now starting. You can't get me canceled already, bro.
But I will say this. So I got one question for you. Real spill. Okay. The question is this. In your experience, when I say your experience, I'm talking about from your perspective, your loop of things, what you've seen collectively, not just necessarily in your relationships, but other people's relationships, even maybe your parents or whoever it may be in your family. I found this out. A man who is rich or wealthy, from that point on, he just want honest love. If honest, when I mean by honest love, I mean unequivocal. You might not come from where I come from. Let's say he was born into money, or say he attained money on his own. Most men, not all, it's some asshole guys that got money and they use that as a means to like humiliate women.
But we're talking about a percent of a percent.
Right. So let me get to the meat of the question. Most real, and I say that if all right, let me use me. If let's say I was single and I'm wealthy, at my state of mind right now, I just want honest love. She don't have to come from money. She don't even have to have it. Now I can go a little further into that, but I'm gonna kind of like dilute the whole question. But I'm gonna have to be 100% real, and I'm getting y'all women face. If you take a wealthy or rich woman, I'll say wealthy, meaning she was born into high finance, meaning like, or a woman that attained that financial status on her own, rich, wealthy, so on and so forth. Most of them, not all, most of them wouldn't even look at an everyday hardworking man. They will prefer to marry into money. That becomes another problem because more women now are more independent. They don't need you. All they need is maybe some dick, some companionship, some conversation. That could lead to something. But that might not apply to everybody. I'm being fair. But let's be honest. Tell me I'm wrong.
But here's the thing. A lot of those independent women would give all of that shit up if they had a man to come secure them that made what was necessary for them not to do what they're doing to be quote unquote independent. Because most of these women are doing this out of survival. They're not doing this because it's something that they want to do.
I agree.
They're doing it because they saw their mama go through it and they like, okay, my mama went through this and I ain't going through this no more.
That.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's
why
I applaud them. I applaud women on that. I applaud them.
However, with them doing that, they're losing a degree of their femininity when they do that because they have to dip into our sectors.
Yeah, and they gotta feel like they gotta be a man.
They gotta compete with us.
What was that movie? Think Like a Man, Act Like a Woman.
Best way to lose a man is to think like one.
Yeah, I don't want a man. You know, again, no disrespect to the gay community, but I want a woman to be a woman. I don't need a woman to be quiet and not speak. I need a woman to be my Scottie Pippen. You know what I'm saying? I might need to fall back. I might need you to put up 40 tonight. You know what I'm saying? Or you might need me to take the lead. Like, I learned that in business. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem with a lot of men, they don't have enough women around them, and vice versa. We off balance like a motherfucker.
And a lot of us are not honest.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us are lying with our actions.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just now getting to the point where the men can be honest. But every time a man is honest, he gets put in a box. That's a negative. Because 9 times out of 10, that honesty goes against everything that they were taught and everything that mainstream media shows them. You understand what I'm saying? So that's that catch-22 that we're in. Like me, I'm honest when it comes to what I want. Like, for instance, if we're quote unquote dating exclusively, like if me and a lady are dating exclusively and she's supposed to be the only person that I'm supposed to be getting my rocks off with, don't think you can use that to control me. Because the first time you reject me after you tell me that you only want me to come to you for this is the first day I open up my human resources department and start taking more applications. Because you broke the agreement. I didn't. I'm only coming to you for this. Unless there's something majorly wrong and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do to make you feel secure in that decision, no shouldn't even be in your vocabulary. You understand what I'm saying? I know that there are extremes. I know that there are outliers, and I know that there are situations that come across where that can't happen. But on a general census, if we're dating exclusively and you're the only one that I'm sleeping with and I want to have sex and you tell me no, I'm like, and it's just for no reason but no, like you just want to control something, because I've seen a lot of women do that. I'm like, okay, agreement breached. I'm out here. You understand what I'm saying?
Facts.
I don't do the control thing.
No.
I don't.
I think trying to control somebody is a heightened negative approach to that. It's really it's disrespectful. You think what I'm like? How can you? It's an old saying that I say to myself. I mean, I don't say to myself, that I made up, and I say to other people. You're not going to bring the best out of somebody by putting them through the worst shit. A lot of people think they got to go through this whole academy, this old boot camp of bullshit. Put him through the worst, and if he survive it, he's meant to be. I heard a woman say, if he can't handle my worst, I'm not giving him my best. So basically what you saying is, you're going to display every piece of bullshit, whether you own it or not, to me, and see if I can take it. I'm done after the first one. I'm too old for that.
And we not taking abuse no more.
Hell no. But so I got a question that I would like to ask you. This is a 2-part question, and you represent men right now.
You can't do that. No. All right. Okay.
When you see what I'm doing, you might be like, oh, okay, I got you. On one hand, right? What do you think most women want in a man? And then on the other hand, what do you think most women want? I don't want to direct this to women, because it's really not. What do you think? Okay, this is not towards the women, because I got in y'all face enough. I'm about to get in the dude's face. What do you think most dudes think that a woman expect of them? And then what do you bring to the table for a woman that you want to be your bride? Like what? Like Chris, you are your own man. You're gonna find your bride one day, King. It's just gonna happen. You dig? So like, you can't dilute yourself. You can't think like, and this ain't me teaching you. This is me actually talking to the chat or the audience. You gotta stand on your shit. You might like a woman so much that you feel like you gotta change in a negative way, or you gotta water yourself down for her to accept you. But I think most women will respect you if you just stand on your own principles. So what do you think most men expect? What do you think most men think that women want from them? And then what do you want? What do you bring to the table as a man? Because you standing on your square because you want this type of bride. Do that make sense?
It makes sense, and I'm gonna answer it like this. What do I think think women want from a man?
Mm-hmm.
No one knows, especially nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. The women that represent the women in the mainstream media, I'll never say all women. And this is also why I say I don't have a dog in a lot of these fights that they be having with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Most men think women want them simply for money and sex every now and then. But with the women that I've come across in real life, they legitimately want a man to set them up, to sit them down. Meaning they want a man that gives them the security so that way they can relax and actually be girls and do what they want to do instead of doing what they have to do. The problem is the women don't trust us enough because we haven't given them enough examples, at least not in the mainstream media.
I agree.
We're getting there, but we haven't given them enough examples. Now, as far as me, I'm not going to hold you. I am so far from husband material right now that I can't even answer that question. That's why I started this channel.
But that's honest.
Right. I'm self-aware.
That's honest.
I can give you that, but I know that I'm not ready to be a husband right now, but I still want to know from men like you and my other fellas that are married and that have children, I still want to know what that responsibility looks like. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, that's a great perspective. Can I answer that? Or was you finished? You want to build more?
Go ahead and we'll wrap this up.
From a married man's perspective, what I
what is, I'm gonna ask you this straight up. What is it like being a husband, and what does facilitating the role of husband look like?
Oh, that's an awesome question. I appreciate your question. Let me do it like this. Us men, married men, especially guys that's been married for a long time. See, when that new car smell wear off, that new wife smell wear off, you know what I'm saying? When that shit wear off, we start treating our woman like a beater. I'm in reference to a car, not actually beating on a woman. I'm talking about a rundown vehicle.
Like the first hoopty you got when you came out of high school.
That's the problem with men. Like when the rubber hit the road and all that new shit, that nuances of the marriage wears off, we devalue our women. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think we do it unconsciously. And the reason why we do it unconsciously, because we forgot our role to always be implemented on trying to understand our women. You don't have to have you don't have to have every question in totality asked and answered. I mean, answered, not asked, answered. Bro, if you answering every question in your marriage in year 5, you probably gonna be divorced by year 8. It's a growing process. You gonna constantly grow. Your lady gonna constantly grow. If you got kids, they gonna grow. You gonna, like, I was a different parent from when I was 20 as opposed to 40. I was a different husband than when I was in my 30s than when I am at 43. Like, I remember, like, let me get on myself for a minute. I used to like get on my lady because she gained some weight. I used to get on my lady because a lot of shit we talked about in our early stages of our relationship, she didn't really follow through. I also used to get on my lady. I used to ride her hard because too much shit was put on me. And it's an honest assessment. I'm being real. I ain't saying I went about shit the right way all the time. But it took me back to, like, just valuing. Like, stop trying to make shit your own. It ain't always about you. Value your lady. You ain't gonna bring I said, this is my second time saying this, you're not gonna bring the best out of somebody putting them through the worst. You know what I'm saying? If she didn't put on some weight, got a little stomach, love that big ass stomach. Love it to the point that she hated. She was like, I need to get rid of this. Baby, I know you. And I'm a fitness trainer. You dig what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that. I'm a fitness trainer too. I've trained so many people. I've trained women that end up being, men and women that end up being bodybuilders or bikini models or things of that sort. So like now you really got a profound understanding on how like what people might think is shallow to them is not shallow to me. Like when I see somebody that don't care about their body, that means you let go of. What happens is this: forward and reverse. When you the reason why motherfuckers in the hood think the way they think because they stop growing. Same thing. It's the same thing with your mind and your body is the same different thing. Your stomach is actually a second brain, but I ain't about to get into that.
We'll get into that when I bring you back.
That's a whole nother segment. So like what you put in your body means something. Like it can actually put you in a heightened state. Like, so like, let's say Chris, nice put together guy. Chris ain't thinning himself out with a bunch of women, excuse me. Chris ain't wow. Chris is the ideal guy that at least a woman wants to meet. Let's just say that. At least you want to meet the guy. He's interesting. You feel what I'm saying? But a lot of y'all women ain't ready for Chris. And I'm using you as a component.
A buffer.
Right. A lot of y'all women not ready for Chris because you get with a guy like Chris and you want Chris to be your everything. Chris can't be your everything. A woman cannot be a man's everything. I wish people would stop saying that shit. There's no way. That's like saying, I want you to be my slave. I can't be your everything. How you gonna want a woman to be your everything and do her? It can't happen. That's an unbalanced equation. That's a bad math problem. It don't make sense. You dig what I'm saying? So now we got to get to the meat and the bones. Now we got to really, when you stop talking, that's when y'all started y'all divorce. I'm going to say it again. When y'all stop talking, your divorce has started. Not on paper, within your marriage, within your relationship. You got to understand that. It's always a balance. You got to always do this. It's a give and take. It's an understanding. Go ahead, King.
So if I'm understanding this straight, the role of husband is about understanding that it's about the whole and not just you. It's about you maintaining what you need to maintain with your lady and giving your lady the security enough to reciprocate it. So that way you both meet in the middle instead of you being here and her being here all the time. You understand what I'm saying? It's about the whole and not just you.
You hit it right on the nose. And then another thing people forget is like, I addressed this earlier, but let me chime in back on it and then shift it in a different direction, which is like sometimes when you're going through stuff in your relationship, the man or the woman might not be ready to address it and you might take it negatively. But the reason why they might not be ready to address it because they still trying to understand it. Give your lady some time, bro. If you love her, give her some time. Give her some time to work it out. Even when you mad and you see her doing stuff that's against the grain. Now, I'm not saying something so detrimental to where they relate. Like, I'm not saying let her cheat. I ain't saying that. What I'm saying is it's like you might know, like, I'm trying to do right by my family, move us in the right direction. She might still be dealing with like some shit from her past or just trying to get a grasp on her now reality. You might see the whole, like you said, you see the whole board. And just that game, just that little bit of game, you might see the whole board. She might see just a couple pieces move. You got to be patient. Let her try to at least come to an understanding. She might not understand the whole shit, but let her come to an understanding. Be patient enough. That's going to open up a conversation. You dig? Same with y'all women. I'm going to get in y'all face next.
I'm going to save that for part 2. because you touched on a lot of things, and I think that just based off of this one conversation, you just gave a lot of people who are in the same boat that I'm in and who are trying to understand this whole dynamic between husband and wife, man, woman relationship. You just gave us a lot to think about.
Right.
Now, I always do this. So last question.
Got you.
Always, whenever I have a guest,
Mm-hmm.
I always ask him to give me a top 5.
Ooh.
So give me your top 5 martial artists that you watch, and I'll even give you 2 honorable mentions. Give me your top 5 martial artists.
Martial artists in terms of film or combat?
Pick your poison, or you can do both.
Okay, let me go by film. Film, first and foremost, Bruce Lee.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, he's a godfather of MMA, believe it or not. Watch some of his old. He was the only one doing fingerless gloves. Matter of fact, he had one of his movies in the beginning. He was sparring with a guy that was like 5 times his size. He looked like a sumo wrestler. They had on fingerless gloves. This was back in like 74, bro. Nobody was wearing those. What's all that about? And he just wasn't doing kung fu or jeet kune do, which is his form of Wing Chun, mix of kung fu, Wing Chun.
All he did was take the trapping out of Wing Chun, and he made it so it's the way of the intercepting fist. He predicts what you are about to do just based off of how you move, instead of attacking
Right.
and then absorbing the attack and then defending at the same time as attacking at the same. You know what I'm saying? Is you know me. You know I've studied.
Right.
I've studied the
Right.
art. I've studied the
Right.
art. So
I was okay. Bruce Lee, Jet Li. Jet Li is extra special.
he had me when I saw the movie The One.
He had me at Fearless because that actually happened.
I remember that movie.
Yes, Fearless was an amazing movie. So Jet Li, I said Jet Li. I'm sorry, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Donnie Yen.
Mr. Ip Man himself.
Yes, Donnie Yen. Y'all might laugh at me, but Jackie Chan. And a lot of people don't know that him and Jackie Chan and I would say Tony Jaa would be my 5th. Tony Jaa, you ever seen Akbong?
Oh yeah.
That's Tony Jaa. He's Muay Thai. Muay Thai originally in Thailand, of course, but amazing. Do his own stunts. Jet Li, I think, don't quote me on this. You know what? I don't even want to say it because I don't like putting misinformation out. But two of these guys that are super martial arts stars in the film, they came from the same dojo. Yeah, I'm gonna find that out next time we talk. I'm gonna have it definite, and I'm gonna have some references you guys can go look up. But out of my top 5, 2 of them come from the same dojo. But that's my top 5 in terms of film. In terms of actual fighting, number 1, it would have to be Royce Gracie. 175 pounds, wet. He was in the first martial art. If I'm not mistaken, he won the first 2 or 3. There was no weight class, no rules, and it was a tournament style. So you fought like 3 or 4 times in one night.
So it was like a bracket one and done thing.
Yeah. You lost, you lose, you go home. So I have to give it up to Royce Gracie. And they come from an amazing Gracie dojo. Oh my God. Like what those guys are doing. Let me if you a jiu-jitsu artist, let me put this in reference for you. One of the things you have to accomplish to get your black belt, you have to submit 2 other black belts at one time, upper body and lower body. So we talking a whole nother level of combat intelligence. You dig? I always had a great deal of respect for like the UFC. Actually, I'm a huge Steven Seagal fan. I gotta throw him in there. People don't even know Steven Seagal is the only American that has a Aikido dojo in Japan. He actually taught a lot of UFC fighters. Anderson Silva. Like I could keep going. So I gotta just say him out of respect. Dan Anderson Silva. Then oh my God, man. I would have to say the 3 Africans that's left. Stylebender.
Israel.
Israel Adonis. Is that how you say his name? Adonison.
I just call him Israel because
Ogangu. He's a heavyweight. And then who is the other middleweight or welterweight? Or is that Ogangu? The dude that, oh my goodness, what is his name? Yeah, I'm about to look him up on my phone.
I say I go
real quick.
Shit, I didn't turn my joint off.
But no, you know what? Let me not. No. Let me not do that. Let me not talk about. And this is no disrespect, or not me undermining. Like I said, the 3 Africans because they are great artists. Man, Randy Couture. Let me talk about him. Let me talk about Tito Ortiz. Let me talk about oh my God, man, the guys from back in the day. Shit. And then there's so many fighters that just got overlooked. And I'm a huge boxing fan. So like people might get mad at me, but I'm really feeling Tyson Fury. That's a big guy that moves like a damn welterweight. Tank is probably my favorite fighter right now. I grew up watching Mike Tyson. Muhammad Ali is my idol. Like I could just keep going like when it comes to boxing. But martial arts, that'll be my 5 because I would have to move in and out. My 5 when it comes to film, my 5 when it comes to actual, I'll say the UFC because it's more popular. People understand that. But yeah, the OGs, Randy Couture, like I said, Tito Ortiz, number 1, Royce Gracie. And man, just a lot of guys. My sensei. I gotta throw him in there. You know, like it's I could just go on, man. You would have to give me my top 100.
I feel that. Key, it was a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Having you to come on the set so we can talk.
Yeah, we can keep this going. We have it going.
We have anytime, to do this
man.
again.
I'm humbly appreciated. Thank you. I appreciate you.
This has been your episode of Across the Table, where the drinks are cold, the mics are hot, and the conversations are fire. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Until next time, y'all. In a minute.
Salute. Peace. Live humble.